GamingBolt presents 15 times players spent crazy amounts of money on mobile games. Mobile and free-to-play games, especially browser-based titles, have gotten better with their microtransactions over the years, while also increasing substantially in quality. However, that doesn't mean that there aren't a few examples, whether recent or in the past several years, of people spending exorbitant amounts of money on these games. Heck, at least one guy suffered immense charges without microtransactions. Let's take a look at 15 times players spent crazy amounts of money on mobile games. Big Jim, We Heroes. As a 50-plus electrical engineer in Silicon Valley, Big Jim was one of the top players in We Heroes, a PvP RPG title where players could pick up gold and diamonds for making their characters stronger. You can spend real money on spinning wheels and whatnot, but Big Jim managed to spend $30,000 over the period of a year on stuff like this. BETTYSUE Higgins, Mafia Wars. How addicted to a Facebook game do you have to be in order to embezzle money from an employer? For BETTYSUE Higgins, it's about $166,000 worth of addiction, as she wrote hundreds of fake checks to spend on Mafia Wars and Yoville. Oddly enough, only $4,000 of that money was spent on the games. Where the rest went is anyone's guess. Jason CROGHAN, Game of War Fire Age. $9,000 on Game of War Fire Age. That's how much Jason CROGHAN spent on Fire Age in order to win, whether it's by buffing stats, investing in over 200 technologies, or cutting down on research time. The strangest thing is that any troops and resources you buy can be wiped out permanently. Spend thousands of dollars only to see it all go away when an opponent attacks you. It's even scarier when CROGHAN told stories of people he knew who spent even more. Stephen Barnes, Modern War. What do you make of Stephen Barnes? This appliance store owner spent some $2 million in Modern War. Starting off, much like in other mobile titles, losing. He started spending money and putting more time in, averaging some 90 hours a week initially, leading a clan for over 4 years. Barnes also contributed to boycotting Gree to make fixes to the game. Passionate? Sure. Still crazy for spending over $2 million on a mobile game? Probably. Lee, Happy Kingdom. The 42-year-old Lee, a businessman who was earning 6 figures, spent roughly $5,000 on Happy Kingdom, a free Facebook game. You'd think that was a lot, but as per Lee, he would go out with friends and spend $6,000 in one night. Lee actually believed he was saving money instead of spending it. Lee again, Clash of Clans. Of course, Happy Kingdom would eventually fizzle out for Lee. He moved on to Clash of Clans and spent money there. Lee had no qualms about spending money to protect his clan members, burning almost $1,000 in less than a month back in the day. And this was from playing roughly 2 hours every day. Panda, Clash of Clans. Of course, there's also Panda, which is obviously not his real name, but still. Panda is someone who claims to have spent roughly 7% of his income each month on Clash of Clans. How much did he spend exactly at that point in time? More than $7,000 in little over a month. His response? You don't have to spend less, you have to earn more, which is certainly one way to look at it. Vince P. Battle Pirates. Unlike Panda though, Vince P. was nervous at one point about how much he spent on Battle Pirates. While speaking to Wired, Vince noted that he spent $16,000 from early 2011 to November 2012. At times, he would spend over $200 in a single day, then $415 on another day, and so on. Like many others, Vince wanted to be the best, like no one ever was, and believed that if you could spend $200 to do that, another $200 isn't that much more. Kevin Lee Ko, Game of War Fire Age. In other embezzling-related stories, Kevin Lee Ko embezzled $4.8 million from his heavy equipment company and spent approximately $1 million of that on Game of War. Yes, the very same Game of War that has more Kate Upton advertisements than actual rewarding gameplay. To be fair, he did buy some cars, plastic surgery, and a golf club membership as well, so it's not like it was all for the love of Kate. Kuko22, Fire Emblem Heroes. It's not like Nintendo games lack whales either. Reddit user Kuko22, who is a chemical analysis software developer, dropped $1,000 on Fire Emblem Heroes. Heroes in the game can be used to great effect, with additional heroes up for purchase. However, despite spending so much, Kuko didn't get Hector, aka the Axeman, with a 500-slot inventory full of heroes. At least his reasoning for spending so much was for fun, curiosity, and data. Anonymous, Game of War Fire Age. Game of War, you never cease to amaze us. In 2014, an unnamed 15-year-old teen in Belgium, as per a news outlet, spent 37,000 euros on microtransactions. By today's conversion rate, that's about $43,000 over the course of several months. The teen himself apparently didn't know he was spending real money, and yes, it was his mom's credit card, which must have been a neat surprise. Taste, Grand Blue Fantasy. Cygames Grand Blue Fantasy allows you to either unlock characters and items through quests or by paying money. Obviously, some characters will be rarer than others, like Anchira. So, when New Year's arrived and a week-long event increased her chances of dropping, a player named Taste decided to go for broke. He bought $6,065 worth of crystals, streamed the whole process, and finally unlocked her. Though Cygames made some changes to drop rates, it's still possible to dump tons of cash into Grand Blue Fantasy to unlock things. Sam Vesti's Kids, Virtual Farm Game. Never leave your 6 and 8-year-old kids alone with an iPhone, a game with microtransactions, and your card attached. In 2013, England rugby player Sam Vesti told BBC Radio 5 Live about his 2 kids spending 3,200 euros on a virtual farm game, buying mountains of food at 70 euros per mountain. Luckily, iTunes refunded Vesti's money later on, and he even admitted that it was a bad idea to leave his kids alone with the device unsupervised. Harry Wallop's Kid, FIFA. Harry Wallop of The Telegraph experienced firsthand the problems of linking his son's iTunes account with his own debit card. His 9-year-old played FIFA on mobile and made many small purchases. These tallied up over a long period of time and came to 370 euros. Wallop and his wife were obviously shocked, but the former noted that this was a particularly expensive lesson in parenting in the long run. Kohei Uchimura, Pokemon Go. Perhaps the only example of spending too much money on a mobile game without microtransactions, Japanese Olympic gymnast Kohei Uchimura spent $5,000 on his mobile data usage for Pokemon Go. This is due to roaming charges on data consumption since Uchimura was outside of his country at the time. Thankfully, his carrier would only charge him $30 per day, and though the bill was still substantial, it wasn't anywhere close to $5,000. And that'll be about it for this one. If you guys like what we're doing at GamingBolt, please consider subscribing to our channel, and I'll see you guys on the next video.